Hey, this is Darren LaCroix. Let's take a look at Anita's speech from a coach's perspective. Remember, I'm not a judge. I'm not here to look at the judge's form to see who could have won or how. My goal is to help you, whenever you take the stage, be better by knowing what impacts the audience. So what becomes memorable 3 days, 3 months, 3 years later, as opposed to what the judges think that day in checking off the form. Now, if you listen to me, if you engage, if you listen to any great coach, you're going to be better and your message will be more lasting. That's our focus, and that's what I'm trying to help people do. So this is just my perspective, not from the judge's forum, but from audience impact. So let's start this off. 000. I love this. I love her title. Her title gets me curious. And it's nothing, not an overused quote or something. It's a quote from a family member. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. I'm curious, it's memorable, and it's hers. We're not doing some cliche quote that we've heard over and over again. So right off the bat, I like this. So I didn't love her opening. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm not a fan of that as your very first words. Your first words should get us engaged, should get us hooked in, and this is platitudes. Now, I'm not saying don't say it, I just don't think it's a great or the best first words. I think if you're going to do it or feel the need to do it, you do it between your opening and the body. It would go right here. So you open us, you engage us, you get us curious, and then you say that line if you feel the need to acknowledge the contest master. Like Ramona, she just got right into stance, and then second place, Sherry, she started with her back to us. Sometimes it's a little scary, so check out both of those. So love the title, but then didn't like the opening line. But that's okay, she still came in third. Let's take more of a look. At 55 seconds, she had a great line. She said, beneath every scar, there's a story. I love that. A, it's the truth. B, I've never really heard it that way before, and it really made me think about my own scars and what's the story behind them. Here's what I think could have been better in this situation. Let us absorb it. If you have a line that gets your audience to think, you've almost got to let us soak that in, because that's where the connection is created. If you just have a brilliant line like that and move on too quickly, it's not going to be fully absorbed, and we're trying to create that connection with the audience. At 1 minute, it's a perfect time when she uses what we call a transitional phrase as she physically transitions on stage. Now, Ramona, who came in first, did this in silence. That's awesome. Anita did this with a transitional phrase. Either way works, and it's different from speech to speech. But what I love about this is Anita used the transition line strategically to show us from where she was to where she was going. And she used the line, I can remember the 2 emotional scars in my life. So that's a great transition phrase. Do you have a transition phrase? And do you use it when you're transitioning from one to another? At 1:37, watch Anita's forehead. What I love about this is she goes into character. That's different from acting and doing gestures. She's there, she personifies her dad. I love that. What I didn't love is when she was moving during the character dialogue. When your characters are speaking, unless they're moving while they're speaking, I think she should be rock solid on stage, looking at the other characters. Again, not the audience. But I really liked it, this was good, and I got it. She personified her dad really well. At 1:53, she had another great transition. She had a transitional phrase that transitioned her. We clearly knew she was done with one point, going to the next point. So she used the line, 15 years later, I experienced my next emotional scar. Clarity, clarity, clarity. Are you clear? Does the audience know when you're clearly finished with one point or one story and going to the next one? Just because you're clear doesn't mean it's been clearly communicated. We should have transitional phrases that helps our audience to absorb our speech and our ideas. At 2:06, Anita, I want to compliment her on her transparency, telling us about when she was fired. Like, that's real and opening up. Here's what I think would be even better, though. I think it would be more connecting if we heard her internal dialogue as she reacted to reading the paper that she was fired, or even better yet, let her open up the paper, look at it, and let us experience that moment when she found out she was fired. So what she did was good, transparency. It could have been brought even more powerfully, been delivered more powerfully if we were in the moment and saw her reaction to reading that headline. I think it would have been even better. At 2:16, notice she stumbled on her words a little bit. Perfect. Notice she still came in third. I stumbled on my words a little bit. When I was studying Ed Tate, he stumbled on his words. And I realized that being present is more important than being perfect. In fact, being present and making a few mistakes makes you real and makes us connect with you. If you're perfect and flawless, it's like a slick salesperson. We don't really make that connection, and there's less influence happening. So it's okay. Let that be a lesson. Don't be perfect. Be present. At 2:20, Anita uses a J.K. Rowling quote. I thought it was a good quote, and what I like is it's not an overused quote. I see that too much in motivational speeches and in Toastmasters. So it's a quote we haven't necessarily heard before, made me think. What I would think it would make it even better is if we know how that quote affected her, tying it back to Anita. Rather than just affirming the thought, let us know how it transformed you or changed your thinking. Then it becomes part of your story. At 2:49, I like what she said. I don't know what your is, but you better know what it ain't. I love this because this is very you-focused and taking our message and bringing us right to us and how it affects us. Really well done. And then finally, for Anita's speech, I didn't love the ending where she said, Mr. Contest Master. It's okay, it's polite, but I learned from Patricia Fripp that your last words linger. So those last things that you say linger in the audience's mind. I learned from David Brooks, 1990 world champion, that the contest is won and lost in the moment of silence. Meaning, are we reflecting on ourselves in between the two speakers? And when you say Mr. Contest Master, there's nothing wrong with it, but it takes away from those last powerful lines if you just let them ring through our mind. I hope this insight was helpful. If you haven't already watched my critique of Sherry's speech and also Ramona's speech, check those out. I think you'll learn from it. Thanks for watching this video. Real important. If this was helpful to you, please pass this on to your speaker friends. Forward it to them and let them get the insights that you enjoyed. And please like this video. Add some comments below. Agree, disagree. What do you think? Put it below. So this has just been the tip of the iceberg. If this gave you just even one or two new insights, there's so much more I'd love to teach you. That's why I created Stage Time University. You know, getting a world-class coach for me changed everything. I had been working really hard for many years, but it wasn't until I got world-class insights from world-class teachers and coaches that my whole speaking and the impact I had in the audience went from average to awesome. So that's why I put together this team of coaches to help you. Very affordable way to move forward faster and become a master faster. So if you want to be the presenter everyone loves, check out my Stage Time University. Just go to stagetimeuniversity.com. Join us.